Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Nadia or Iron Curls, and today is Vlogmas day unknown, but I'm gonna do my long overdue Q&A. I've been saving these questions for a very long time and I know it's way overdue. Excuse the shitty lighting and shitty background, but it gets dark at like 3 o'clock, so I have no other choice. Okay, so let's get started. So I've saved some screenshots from Q&As that I've posted, and I'm going to answer some of the questions. Okay, number one. How did I start my fitness journey? So guys, this could be like a whole video on its own. So what happened was, starting from the beginning. Growing up, I was always a fat kid. I was always overweight. I remember being like in grade 4 wearing size like 10 or 12 jeans. Like I was always made fun of for being big. I was always called like wide load or thunder thighs was another good one. I was always made fun of for being fat, and I just thought I was always going to be a bigger person. My dad is probably like 350 pounds. My mom is around 200, so she's kind of overweight, but she's like a woman, so she like fluctuates a lot with the yo-yo dieting, etc. But so yeah, I thought, I'm Italian, I'm gonna be overweight my whole life, there's no way around it. I'm big boned, as my parents would tell me, and I just had to live with it. And so I did. I would just eat like shit, basically ate my feelings away my whole life. And I tried to yo-yo diet. I would try like restricting a lot and just like eating small amounts of food to try and lose weight, put myself in a calorie deficit, but then that would result in like a big binge a few days later, which would reverse all that calorie deficit that I just did anyways. So just like the typical basic yo-yo dieting that people do, because they're just not educated and you just don't have that knowledge and you don't know how to properly diet. And I was young. I was like in high school. I was a teenager. So yeah, I was started in the gym around grade 9 and grade 10 is when I got into the gym, and I would just do like random stuff. I didn't know what I was doing. I would do a lot of classes, actually. Like I joined the YMCA and I would do like a lot of the classes with the older women, and I really truly enjoyed those, and I feel like that's what kind of got me into things more. I started doing boot camps more often, and then there was one trainer who did the boot camps all the time who then wanted to take me on as a client and like really help me transform and lose weight. So I started with him in grade maybe 10 or 11, but again, I wasn't serious. Like I was training hard for what I thought, but I still lacked motivation. Like I would go to the gym like 5 days a week, and then I would drink and eat like shit on the weekend, and then I wouldn't go to the gym for like 5 days, and then I'd start back again. And it was just like I wasn't consistent with my diet or my training. I liked drinking too much, I liked partying too much, and at that point in my life, it wasn't worth it to give up what I enjoyed, which was partying, blacking out, and making a fool of myself for results that would benefit me inside and out. So yes, that was more my high school area. And then I think grade 13 is when something like just switched in my head. Literally, I was in a very bad place mentally. I remember it was like February. It was just a really bad place. I just had a bad relationship with food. I would eat copious amounts of peanut butter. Like peanut butter was my trigger. And I ate a lot of peanut butter, a lot of fruit. And it was like another endless cycle where I would diet all week and then have this big, I would reward myself with this big cheat meal, and I would like go crazy and like eat till I was way over full. And uncomfortable, and it just like put me in a bad mental state, because then I hated myself for doing that to myself. It's hard to explain if you haven't been there yourself, but I feel like a lot of women have. So I was in a very bad place. At the time I was on birth control, and honestly I'm very against birth control because I feel like it messes you up mentally. Like it's not, birth control should not be in your body. Like by my personal opinion, it just messes with your whole body. It messes with all your systems. It's not, you're messing up your natural cycle of your body. And but I feel like most of all, birth control really messed me up mentally. And I don't want to say I was depressed, but I was just in a bad place, and I turned to food, and I needed to get out of that. Like one day it just clicked. Like I hated myself, I hated where I was, and I needed to change. So I hired another personal trainer, and I started going to the gym. I was consistent. I stopped drinking. This was 2013 because I was in grade 13. I stopped drinking, so like 5 years sober. Wow. So yeah, I stopped drinking. I would still go out with friends, but I didn't like who I was when I was drinking either. I lost a lot of friends because I was that blackout, obnoxious drunk that everybody wanted out of the party, because like she was just way over the limit there, just like fucking crazy. So that's who I was. I was a big partier, and I hated myself because of that. I hated myself because of this endless yo-yo dieting bullshit. I hated my body. I hated who I was as a person, and I wasn't mindful. I wasn't spiritual. I wasn't grateful. None of that existed in my life. I just literally lived for the weekends. And that's what a lot of teenagers do. It's whatever. Like as you grow, you learn these things. And anyways, that's where I was at that point in time. Hired a trainer, became more serious in the gym, gave up drinking, more serious with nutrition. And then I found my passion for running, and I love outdoor running. And like where I lived was beautiful. Like I lived on an escarpment, and then below was all water. I lived right on the water, so like the view was just amazing, and I was so lucky to be able to run outdoors and see all that every day. So I did a lot of running, and I lost weight, and I proved to myself that holy shit, like anything is possible. Like you can be anything you want. So I lost a lot of weight. It's hard for me to remember like what my starting point was and what my end point was, but it's definitely like, I would say like 160 to 170, and the lowest I was like 103, which was like right before a show that I did, my first show. So yeah, I ran a lot, lost a lot of weight, and during that point I went to school in Hamilton to McMaster, and I was living alone. It was my first time living alone. I was so stressed because of school. I was so stressed because I needed to keep up this running. I was so stressed because I finally lost the weight, and I was scared to gain it back. It was a really hard time for me again, both mentally. It was just a lot. I was trying to do well in school, but I was failing basically because I needed to train, and I just couldn't focus to study, and school was just really hard. Like, oh my God, I just can't even describe to you. It was a really hard point in my life. So after that, I decided that I didn't like the program I was in. I needed to switch, and that's when I decided to do nursing instead. But that was a big pivotal year of my life. Like my life spun like 360, guys. Like, yeah, so that's all I can say about that. So then from there, I decided to do my first show after I lost all the weight. I just wanted to do figure. I hated bikini. I hated the idea of bikini because I felt it was so fake. Like you flaunt your ass on stage. It was all tits and ass, and I like hated it so much. Like I'm not a fake person, and I hate having to like fake like flirtiness on stage and shit like that, and that's why I didn't like it. I like the idea of figure because I really like muscle. I like the posing. I just really enjoyed it, and so I started in figure, but then I saw how small I was at 103 pounds. But I did win my first show because there's only 2 of us in the class. But then like everybody told me like, girl, you need to do bikini, like you're way too small. So then I did a few more shows. Like that's where bikini started for me. But when I started with bikini, when I got on stage, it's like this inner person that I didn't know I had. It like just comes out of you. Like the stage brings out a different part of my soul basically, and it wasn't anything like I thought it was. I didn't have to fake anything. I didn't have to pretend to be flirty or pretend to be sassy. Like it's like your inner persona comes out, or a different persona, and it just naturally shines through. So that's when I discovered, like, yeah, like can do bikini. Like, I don't mind it that much. I feel good. I feel fun on stage. And yeah, so that's where bikini started. And that was 2014 to 2018 now. And I've done 20 shows, 20 some shows maybe between that 4 years. Crazy. But I will say, like, a lot of people think, wow, like, why are you doing so many shows? Like, there's no point. And I agree to some point, but my motto is, like, always show up. Always show up, because you don't know what they're looking for. You don't know who's going to show up. As long as you're bringing your best self every time you get on stage, and you enjoy the stage, and you enjoy the process, and you enjoy competing, and you can afford it, and you're not, like, financially jeopardizing yourself, then do it. Like, it's fun. And I don't like those people who say, no, I'm not competing until I'm gonna win. Like, it's all or nothing. Like, if I know I'm not gonna win, I'm not doing the show. Well, I'm sorry, but if you have an outlook and a perspective like that, you're never going to do anything in life, because you're constantly waiting. You're constantly putting things on hold. You're putting your life on hold until you're perfect. But guys, guess what? There is no such thing as perfect, and you will never be at that point where you are 100% satisfied with yourself. I can promise you. You can be 100 times better than the person you were last year, but you'll still will not be 100% satisfied in yourself. And I think that's a good thing, because you always want to grow, and you always want to expect more for yourself. And you always want to be better. So it's good that you're not always 100% satisfied, because if you were, then there's no room for growth. And at the end of the day, life comes down to continuously growing and continuously developing and learning and building that character and building your knowledge. Because if you don't, you're basically a dead human being that's living, if that makes sense. I don't know. So yeah, I've done a lot of shows, but honestly, I do not regret a single show I've done. I've learned so freaking much from every show I've done. Personal experience, stage experience, like, just so many things, like, so many tips for competing, and like my routine for getting ready for show day, and like what to pack, like shit like that, like peak week, everything. Like, it's just like, it's easy now, and I don't even have to think twice about it, because I've done it so many times, and I'm happy for that, because sometimes, like, it really stresses people out, and you just don't know what to expect. And like, I get it, like, especially if it's your first show, but I don't know, I just enjoy the experience. I know what to expect when I'm on stage. It's just, you learn a lot, and you learn a lot about your body, and it's all trial and error. So you learn what works, what doesn't work, what manipulations you can do, what you can't do, what food protocols work for you, what training protocols work for you. So yes, I'm very grateful for the 20 shows I've done. I'm very grateful that I have a supportive family that has allowed me to do these shows, that I'm financially able to afford to do these shows. But yeah, so I'm very happy with my experience. Even the shitty times when I was younger, and all the shit that I went through, like, mentally with myself, and like the extreme weight loss when I was really tiny, and everything, like, everything serves a purpose. Guys, everything serves a purpose in life. I know, like, it's hard to look back over your life sometimes and remember some hard times, and you sometimes question why those things happen to you, but you should never regret anything in your life, and you should never regret any experience that has happened to you, or even if it's negative, because at the end of the day, you have grown from that as a person. You have learned something from that experience, and it has shaped you to who you are today. And if you didn't go through that, you wouldn't be who you are today. So always be grateful for everything that you have been through, everything you've endured. Like, this year alone, I can't even describe to you the bullshit that I've been through. Like mind blown. Shit that you would never even... Like, I don't understand why these things happen to me, but this year has been a shit show. So, an amazing shit show. So this year alone, so many shitty things have happened to me, but I've learned so much about myself. I've learned how strong I can be as a person. I have learned how strong I am as an individual, and just like the hard head I have, and I'm proud of that, and I'm very happy that I am the way I am, because this year I've seen so many weak people, like mentally weak, and it's sad because I just want them to understand, like, you can be strong, like, hold yourself tall, you need to be confident in who you are. This probably makes no sense to you guys because you have no idea what I'm like thinking about in my head, but, or the experiences that I'm thinking about, but if there's anything I could like share with you guys and anything I could teach you, is to be confident in who you are and be happy in who you are, and don't ever feel the need for validation from others, because if you need to be validated by somebody else, you're not truly happy with who you are. And I know that they're like, for example, like in my head, I'm thinking of a lot of girls who like need to hear from somebody else, like, yeah, you look good, or yeah, you're doing great, or they just need that extra reassurance that they are on the right track and that they do look good, or that they are doing well in their job, or in their training, or like whatever they're doing in life. It's just a constant need for reassurance. Or like when girls go, do I look okay? Like, do I look okay? Or like when people are just so focused on things and always wondering what people are thinking about them. Like you need to stop that, because honestly, like that is such a waste of energy. For one, you're concerned about what other people think of you, when at the end of the day, people probably aren't even thinking of you, and nobody gives a shit because they're thinking of themselves. So stop wasting your energy on what other people think of you, and you need to be confident in who you are, and you need to love yourself, because if you don't love yourself first, you can't love somebody else, and you can't share good energy with anybody else. And what you put out is what you get back. And if you don't have happiness and gratitude and love for yourself, then you can't give it back. And if you don't give it back, then you won't get it in return. So it all starts from within. Honestly, over like these last few years of my life, the things that I've grown and that have helped me shape myself the most is probably becoming more like, not even spiritual, but like more connected with myself and with the universe, with God, with a higher power, I guess you could say. And I developed that through reading a lot of like, not self-help books, but a lot of like positivity books, like a lot of Joel Osteen, a lot of like The Secret or The Power of Now. What else do I got? I can put some books down below, but by reading these books, I was able to like put myself on a different frequency and like on a different vibe, and be more positive and be more grateful. And like those are like the two things that'll make or break you in life. Like it's like there's a whole new world when you are positive and when you are grateful. And when you read these books, it helps to open that eye and like open another door of your life, and it just makes life so different and so much better on so many different levels, and really helps you grow as a person. So if there's one thing I could like suggest to you guys, if you're struggling like mentally with something, or you're struggling with finding who you are, or struggling with loving yourself, it's you need to be connected with yourself and with a higher power, whatever that means to you. It doesn't need to be God. It could be like the universe. It could be a higher power, and you just don't know who it is. But yeah, so I would definitely recommend like reading some of these books, or listening to like these podcasts or these sermons, just to get you in that different mind frame. And just take like 5 or 10 minutes every single day and read these little things, and like change your negative energy maybe into some positive energy. Like change the frequency you're on, and your life will change. I promise you. That is probably the biggest thing that I've done that's really like opened my eyes and like changed who I was as a person. So yeah, this was supposed to be a Q&A, but it turned into like a rant about random shit in my life basically. So we'll see if this even makes the cut. But thanks for watching, guys. I love you guys so much, and I truly appreciate it, and I love all your love and support. So thank you for always being there for me and listening to my fucking random ass rants. So we'll see you in the next one.